Michael Mann's Heat is a gripping action thriller, but it's also incredibly deep and meaningful, and contains two of the greatest actors of all time finally facing off. Of course, the whole plot of Heat is Al Pacino's character of Vincent Hanna, a policeman wedded to his job who is chasing master thief Neil McCauley, played by Robert De Niro, who is planning one last score. As the film starts to wind down, it appears Neil is going to escape. He successfully completed the last job and longs to get away with the woman he has fallen in love with, Edie, played by Amy Brenneman. However, Neil is so chained to the life of crime and obsessed with loyalty to his team, he can't resist before he disappears to go back to deal with someone who has betrayed him. So he stops off. That scene is pretty tense because we as an audience know that Neil making this choice is jeopardizing his future with Edie. They need to leave that night, but he can't leave with this person getting away with it. Neil manages to take revenge and comes out all happy, and then suddenly things change in the blink of an eye. Michael Mann is a fabulous director for that. He can just completely swerve you and change the trajectory of the whole film in a few seconds. Vincent is there looking for Neil and he is closing in, and the pressure cooker starts up. Just as Neil thought he got away with it, he essentially has screwed himself by going back to satisfy his need for revenge. Because of his loyalty to his gang, he ultimately loses his chance at true happiness, and we realise that with Neil, it really did have to be this life and nothing else. Edie was just a pipe dream. He's come too far and is chained to this life forever. Vincent is looking around for Neil. He knows this is his last chance to find him, and there is so much determination on Al Pacino's face. It's a frantic and unpredictable situation as a crowd of people and vehicles obstruct his view. He knows that Neil could easily slip through his fingers again, so we're sat on a knife edge wondering if he will spot him. Neil knows he must run when he realises Vincent is closing in. De Niro's face is incredible as he stares at Edie with just pure regret. This is such an emotional and powerful moment, and time stands still. Neil doesn't say anything to her because there's nothing he can say. He is simply taking one last look at what he could have had. And it's a devastating moment and an example of the purity and heat just being completely unattainable for these characters. They are chained to the road they're on, they're stuck on it and nothing can take them off. The final confrontation takes place on the outskirts of the airport, and it's one of the most wonderfully shot endings ever. The lack of music makes it so claustrophobic and tense, and it's just a real sense of importance and destiny running throughout. The finality is incredible. We know neither man is walking away from this, and we feel it. The full weight of everything that has led up to this ending, it's all bearing down on you. And a sense of dread and tension, and the fact that we actually like and understand both these people. Even though Neil is bad and he's doing bad things, he's not pure evil at his heart. And Vincent has a lot of flaws, so he's not a perfect policeman. These guys are just two sides of the same coin. The close-ups of the men running along in the dark, hiding behind these blocks, build such tension, and we feel like these men are the only people in the world. They're so cut off from everything else now. This is the final judgment day. It's the perfect setting to see who will come out on top. The close-ups of their faces are also fantastic, showing the stone-cold focus of the characters. The sense that they both know this is life and death. Their face is a mix of determination but also a sense of anxiety and being completely on edge. In a strange way though, both these men have never felt more alive than in this moment. Despite the anxiety and fear, because like it or not, they know deep down they live for this, and this is all they know how to do.
I don't know how to do anything else.
Neither do I.
I don't much want to either.
Neither do I.
The silence is broken when a plane flies past, and it's a gorgeous shot with the lights in the background. Again, it's just the perfect setting. Yes, it's quiet and down and dirty, but when the plane arrives, it elevates things back to the grand spectacle the rest of the film has had. The plane going past creates a tiny break from the chase, and adds a little bit of unpredictability of whether the light and the noise is going to put one of the men off and cause them to make a fatal mistake. It doesn't happen the first time, so by the time the second plane comes, you're on tenterhooks. Surely these guys can't keep their focus if this keeps happening. And lo and behold, the second plane flies past in a beautiful shot, and then we get a close-up of Vincent, as he unloads on Neil. The camera lingers on a close-up of Vincent, and through Pacino's performance we can see a sense of relief that he has finally done it, but also a sense of shock that he actually has. Neil is sat bleeding out and Vincent walks over and grabs his hand. Vincent has a sense of real reservation on his face, sticking true to his word when he told Neil earlier in the film if it came down to this, he wouldn't like it, but it would be his job to put him down.
You know, we're sitting here, you and I are like a couple of regular fellows. I mean, you do what you do, I do what I gotta do. And now that we've been face to face, if I'm there and I gotta put you away, I won't like it. But I'll tell you, if it's between you and some poor bastard whose wife you're gonna turn into a widow, brother, you are going down.
Vincent takes Neil's hand so he isn't alone at the end, and that is such an emotional and powerful moment. This gesture displays how easily the lines between policeman and criminal can be broken down, because ultimately these are two men who are very similar and respect each other. They just took different directions with their lives. They're two sides of the same coin. If circumstances had been different, maybe Neil would have been the policeman and Vincent the criminal. That's how similar they are. Vincent refuses to look at Neil as he dies too, staring off into the distance as he holds his hand. He clearly feels terrible watching him die. Pacino's performance is fantastic, and he and De Niro truly are the kings of facial expressions. There's just so much going on behind the eyes, and I really think these guys need to continue to be studied by today's actors, because they're both just out of this world. They tap into something so human, but at the same time their performances are big time and Hollywood. They're both just superb. What a moment as a glorious epic score comes in to end an epic film, teamed with a classic shot of Vincent and Neil holding hands. It's a wonderful wide shot and a haunting, meaningful image with this stunning score going on behind it. Michael Mann holds onto this shot for several seconds, and it's an image that wraps up the film brilliantly. It's like a release for both men and the audience. It's finally over. Neil is out of his misery, and Vincent is free from this chase. So in a way, it's a very bittersweet ending. So what do you guys think of the monumental ending of Heat? Please let me know in the comments below. Let's discuss this masterpiece. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing for more analysis and retrospectives on classic and cult films. And for now, I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next video.